Chapter F. Fitness Mania Spreads in the Building. The short snippet before Chapter F. Neighbors. Taking rounds of the building garden in my perpetual lose the last 5 pounds mission, I see my elderly neighbor sitting on the grass and looking up at our building. He is not blinking, and drool is running out of his mouth. Worried that he may have suffered an epileptic fit, I run towards him only to discover that he is staring at the silhouette of an undressed neighbor who has forgotten to draw her curtains. I decide to immediately warn my neighbor. I whip out my phone, and to my horror, she starts coming even closer to the window and now can be seen clearly, stark naked. And when she picks up the phone, I discover that this is partly my fault, as her phone was lying on the window ledge and she has been fully exposed as she was trying to get to her phone, which has been ringing unnecessarily due to Good Samaritan me. Yikes! Chapter F. Fitness Mania Spreads in the Building. The man of the house, unlike me, can actually cook. You must always find a partner who can do a few mundane chores around the house so that you can relax in your favorite armchair and nourish your brain with books just like these. If you do know how to cook, it is rather useful to pretend otherwise. Unless you want to be periodically nagged by snooty children to make their messy and time consuming favorite dishes. Right up to the day you get Alzheimer's and luckily forget the recipe along with your name. I would rather take a nap on the balcony in the time that it takes to make complicated things like spaghetti bolognese, but that could just be due to the fact that I'm always chronically sleep deprived and my entire day whizzes by running in circles, occasionally running on the treadmill, and invariably running into odd situations. Today, 6:30 a.m. I'm wide awake as the man of the house has switched on all the lights and decided that this is the precise moment that he needs to further perfect his body by a series of complex exercise that involves in carrying his body weight on his right elbow. He cheerfully asks me to join him. As much as I admire his zeal for self inflicted punishment, the debate on whether to partake in his innovative routine or jab my eye 3 times instead is very short. The later, less painful option accomplished, I decided to get out of bed and get a head start to my day. 7 a.m. My body needs caffeine to lubricate all my joints into some semblance of normal function, but as I walk into the kitchen, the two children that at some mistaken point I deemed necessary for my happiness dash into me while playing Catch the Mosquito or Catch Dengue, a game unique to Mumbai suburbs. 10 a.m. Rushing to the office, I walk to the lift in my building when I hear loud crashing sounds come from the stairway. I poke my head forward, curious about the commotion. Lo and behold, it's my neighbors, Mrs. C and Mrs. M, wearing polyester printed salwar kameez and gleaming white sneakers, rushing up to the stairs to the third floor and then back down to the second again and again. Getting dizzy just looking at them, I call out, Mrs. C, Mrs. M, what are you guys doing? Mrs. C ignores me the same way she ignores my monthly messages asking her to make sure her dog doesn't defecate in the front yard. Last Diwali, I very kindly sent her a beautifully wrapped made in Japan poop scooper, but never even got a thank you note. Mrs. M answers with a pant, we are doing exercises, you can see, no, then why asking? Muttering under my breath that no amount of running up and down floors can dislodge the 100 theplas they eat at each meal, I roll my eyes and leave the building. 2 p.m. Sitting at my store and going through accounts is a dreary task, though I feel I may need some sort of injectable drug to get through the day. I settle for some coffee and continue breaking my head with numbers that never seem to add up just right. 5 p.m. back home, and with time to spare, I decide to take the baby, fondly referred to as the little beast, to my mother's house so that she can harass other members of the family besides me. I get there, and Mother Dearest is sitting with a close friend, Honey, and trying to call up their friend Bubble. Honey Bubble Dimple. Does anyone still wonder why I have been lumped with a name that rhymes with sprinkle and wrinkle? I'm then informed by my mother that her weekly task of torturing me by showing me strange sculptures that she excavates from the unknown sources and then tries to place in precarious corners of my house, but unfortunately come to a halt because she has been very busy promoting her new movie. And as I am secretly praying that her promotional activities don't stop for a few more months, she informs me that I must not get very disheartened as she has spoken to an antique shop dealer who is sending a 7 foot status of a one-armed woman to my house early next week. 6:30 p.m. I'm walking back into my building and I'm jostled by yet another elderly auntie walking up the stairs. Wondering about this fitness mania that has suddenly gripped my entire building, I spot the hunky movie star who has finally moved into his third floor apartment in our building, and it all makes sense. Holding the baby with one hand, I smile feebly and wave at him when he walks up to me, punches me hard on the arm, and says, "Do you know how many times you have bitten me when we were kids?" I have absolutely no recollection of this, as I had spent my entire child mercilessly beating up various pimpled boys, half of whom grew up to be very famous people. Promising to send him my yummy dahi tikkis, I enter my foyer and meet the man of the house. When I tell him about bumping into our new neighbor and finding out that apparently I have beaten him up as well, the man of the house just signs and says, "What is new? You beat me up every day too. Maybe you should open a new kind of acting school." I protest that I really can't act. He adds, "I know that, but you can claim to be a lucky mascot. A punch from Twinkle will make your stars sparkle." I feebly protest that this slogan doesn't really rhyme. He shushes me and continues, "There will be testimonials from all your former students, like Farhan Akhtar. Every time Miss Khanna beat me, I thought, Bhag Farhan Bhag. That is why I was so good in Bhag Milka Bhag. It was sheer practice." Karan Johar. I'm successful only because of Mrs. Khanna's regular trashings. Every wallop I received, I said kuch kuch hota hai, and that's how the idea of my first film was born. Ritik Roshan. I became the superhero of Krish only because of Mrs. Khanna's punches. It left a deep scar on my mind, and I decided to grow up and fight evil. And of course, me, Akshay Kumar, I would be nothing without Mrs. Khanna. I learned karate, taekwondo, and park out only because of her blessings in the form of slaps and boxes. When an object that everyone knows he was a martial arts expert, even before he met me, he's not. So what? You anyway want to take credit for everything. So take credit for this as well. I hit him on the head and pull him out to our porch. Feeling calmer after looking at the beautiful sea, I tell him, "The sea looks so gorgeous," and say thank you to me. If I had not fought with the builder to lower the boundary wall, we would be looking at only concrete. The man of the house shakes his head and just walks off. So weird, behaving like he has his periods or something. Men are so strange sometimes. Who can understand them?